So Kids on Brooms is based on Kids on Bikes, and it's a system where you have all your random face die, but you ignore your D100s because D100s is useless except for randomization. And each of your die gets put into a different stat block. Your stat block is a little different. You have a fight, a flight, a brains, a brawn, a charm, and a grit. And they're kind of loosey-goosey fluffy, but there are some suggestions in the various rulebooks to give you an understanding of what they are. Fight's pretty obvious. Flight is about avoiding the obstacle in front of you or the challenge as presented to you. Brains is pretty obvious. Anything to do with using your mental power to figure things out or affect the world around you. Brawn is a mostly physical stat, and it determines like how you might lift an object or interact physically with something. Charm is all about turning on your best face and that kind of thing. Grit is how you handle physical challenge in respect to how it affects you. So like how you take a punch, or how long it would take you to climb a ladder, how weathered or how tired you would be at the end of something like that. So you've got your stat, which is just your regular rolls, and then you have your magic rolls, which, currently you're all moderately familiar with magic. So you have a D6 instead of a D4, and then your wand gives you a couple of bonuses to your magic stat. So anytime you're wielding your wand and you're using magic, you add your bonuses to those stats. And your broom, whenever you have your broom on you, you get your bonuses from your broom. Everyone has a familiar. I think everyone's familiar is an animal currently, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a raven.
Insect.
Yes. Raven currently has an insect. There are fear modifiers to checks. There's snap decisions, which are specific checks. You've got uncommon sense, which you get to add a d6 to a roll that you use your common sense to figure out. Not necessarily just like a brains roll, but anything that is common sense related. You can argue. Whenever you roll the max value on a dice, you can roll the dice a second time and add the two values together. This is like a concurrent thing. If you continuously explode, you can continuously roll. Once I ask you to stop rolling, though, I would like you to stop rolling. Anytime you fail a roll, you get an adversity token. And your adversity tokens, you can use as many as you'd like at a time to add to a roll up to the point where you pass the roll or you hit 5 over or whatever. This is one of those mechanics that's kind of loosey-goosey. You can spend tokens on your rolls. You can also spend tokens on other people's rolls, as long as it's not a snap decision roll. If it's a snap decision, no one can help you on a snap decision. It's just you, the dice, and your own personal adversity tokens. Fear modifiers, I'll decide if there's a fear modifier associated with the snap decision, and we'll RP it based on the fear modifier. Fear modifier is generally only going to be a -3 at most to any roll. That's pretty much it as far as the base stuff goes. This is a game about RP more than it's a game about numbers. There's no hit die. There's no health points. There's no mana points. There's no spell slots. There's no nonsensical anything, because it's nonsensical everything. You get to play out how you like to go about the situation. Your personal RP affects the story, and we are building a world together. I've put down some skeleton frames and some puppets down, but you guys supply the strings. So whenever you're ready, we'll get started.